Hey guys, here we are today at S S Diesel Motorsports with Justin, and we've got the tow pig in the shop, and of course we're going to get something really cool done to this a little bit later, and we're going to film it. So right now we're going to do a little tour with Justin. Hey Justin, say hi to our Facebook and social media world.
Hey, how you doing? Good to meet y'all.
All right, so he's going to give us a little tour of things. We've been talking a little bit here. And I thought, well, heck, let's break the camera out, and so we don't have to do this twice. So,
yep,
what's going on?
Well, yeah, here at our headquarters in Seymour, Indiana, we specialize in common rail fuel systems. And so, right now, we are in the stock room. Typically, what we'll do is, we'll get base components from Bosch and or Standardine, depending on which product it is. We got injectors here on both sides. So we start off with just your basic stock injectors as our raw components, or as our our input product. So got pumps here. Actually,
these are pumps, huh?
Yep. Those are all CP3s. We're kind of light. Normally this wall's stacked all the way up, but business has been good. We've been selling a lot of pumps, building a lot of pumps, so that's good.
Right.
So this is where all the raw components are. Also, we have a, I guess you could say, microscope station, dyno light, where we do a lot of inspection and stuff like that as well. But yeah, we'll take the raw components, we'll bring them in here into the fuel lab. It's kind of where the magic happens. This is a state-of-the-art fuel lab. We've got some custom testing equipment that is exclusive to us. A lot of stuff of this capability you'll only find in North America.
Oh, wow.
Like over there, Andrew, our owner, Andrew Stauffer, he's testing some Cummins injectors. The capabilities of that test bench, really, if they were to want to get those tested, they'd need to take them to send them off to Austria. So it's a lot better to have it done just right around the corner, because we are
Austria, huh?
Yeah. So it makes sense to work with us, and Cummins is right around the corner. You got the large engine plant is in Seymour, and then you got Cummins headquarters in Columbus, not too far from here.
Right. Cool.
Our other owner, Luke Langelier, he actually worked for Cummins for 10 years, so they kind of had that connection as well. So, but yeah, anyways, this is the pump bench here. So we'll take base pumps from Bosch, modify them to suit our needs, and then test them on this test bench. So, we do everything from stroke CP3s for more output for racing and pulling applications, but we'll also take CP3s and adapt them to other applications like the LML Duramax. We do a CP3 conversion for that. So we've been getting into a lot more reliability improvement products. We look for common problems within common rail fuel systems and then try and solve them. Trying to see what we have here. I don't know if we have any of the LML Duramax CP3s in the works, possibly. Another big pump for us is the DCR, which is what the Ford's here for. So that's another problem solver product, where the biggest problem with the CP3 is it won't fit in the valley of the 6.7 Power Stroke, hence the DCR. So due to our relationship with Bosch, we started off doing CP3 conversions for everything, but that just can't really happen in the 6.7 Power Stroke. So that's why we partnered up with Standardine and Pure Power to retrofit a DCR pump inside the valley of a 6.7 Power Stroke. So yeah, this particular bench here, very, very state-of-the-art. It's, I guess you'd say, kind of our flagship test bench. It's what we use to test all the big injectors and all of our highly modified injectors, stuff for competition purposes, lots of power. For normal production stuff, we have our 6 station here, so we can simultaneously test 6 injectors at a time, mostly for Cummins stuff, because those are 6 at a time. But this test equipment started off life as a Bosch test bench, but then we've modified them all to kind of suit our needs. And another example here is the 8 station. So this will test 8 injectors at a time. Typically, this thing is doing the LB7 Duramax injectors most of the time. Those are big sellers for us, and so we keep this busy. The other benefit is increased production. You can do a complete set at a time rather than just one at a time. So
this is pretty neat. I had no idea.
Yeah. So, and the other cool thing about these benches is we're able to gather the complete injection profile. So, like we call it rate data or rate shape.
Yeah.
So you're looking at more than just quantity. You're actually looking, you know, at when the injector opens, how long it stays open, and when it closes. Not necessarily the energizing time, but the actual duration of the injector, which is extremely important. So, but yeah, once we build injectors and pumps, we take them in here. All these are ready to be laser etched, so we laser etch exactly, you know, what particular product it is. Package them up on pallets and put them on the shelf.
Nice.
So we do our best to try and keep these shelves full, but you know, like I said, business is good.
Yeah, empty shelves are good and bad, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, from a sales guy's perspective, I like to see empty shelves, but at the same time, it's way easier to sell from a full shelf.
Yeah.
Free. So, you know, as I was explaining in the fuel lab, it's kind of tight here in the 6.7, you know, valley, which for years and years and years, for over a decade now, you know, people have been doing CP3 conversions for, like, say, LMLs. And then, you know, for a few years, you know, the 19 to 20 Rams had a CP4, and we do a CP3 conversion for that. The thing that the market's been waiting for and crying for is a CP3 conversion for a 6.7 Power Stroke, but the CP3 won't fit. And so, actually, you know, an engineer at Pure Power, you know, big Ford enthusiast, actually discovered that the DCR fuel pump will fit in the valley of a 6.7 Power Stroke. And once they figured that out, he insisted on working with S&S because our specialty is, you know, common rail fuel systems and the integration of it to make it work seamlessly, you know, and a lot of that comes from the OE background of Luke and Andrew and other engineers that we have working for us. So they approached us to, you know, like I said, we don't necessarily manufacture the pump. Standardine manufactures the pump, the base pump anyways, but they approached us to integrate it into the 6.7 Power Stroke and make sure that it's a direct drop-in, plug-and-play, emissions compliant. It honestly, you know, looks like it came like that from the factory, and that's kind of, you know, our specialty. And you know, there are several things that they had to do to tweak the pump. This particular pump is specific to this application, but as you can see, it fits in there nice and tight.
Yeah, it did.
Operates, functions just like a CP4, or not, let me rephrase that, doesn't function just like a CP4, but does the same thing. You know, same output, same pressure, all that. The ECU won't even know the difference. As far as the big thing about the DCR pump is its internal structure. We did have a display around here somewhere that shows that.
This is what you don't want to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, it was still running just fine. So
that's what he said. He showed me the rust there on the...
Yeah, maybe you guys covered it already, but...
No, not on video we have it, so more than happy to discuss it.
Field test, a DCR field test truck. So this truck's had a DCR since last November or so, last fall. And we brought it in just to update the pump to the latest production intent version because it was more of a prototype, you know, earlier generation at the time. And we tore into it, and here's what we found. It is full of rust.
Oh, wow.
And it has seen a hard life. The interesting thing is it was still running fine.
Yeah,
I'd been driving it the last week or so. And every once in a while it would act a little bit odd that made us think that the electronic relief valve, which is this guy, might have a problem. And so we pulled this off for starters and found all this rust here, and this is supposed to be a little screen.
Yeah, I saw that, the rust on
but it's like a bunch of rust piled up on it. So then I punched a hole in the bottom of the filter canisters here to drain a little bit off the bottom.
Oh.
That's what's...
That's giving me nightmares.
Yeah. This is maybe what your tank looked like.
Oh, yeah.
The difference is this thing was still running fine, and that pump didn't die and didn't destroy everything else in the system. So this was a unintentional durability test for its ability to handle water and lots of debris, too, because if this just had factory filters on it, it would have potentially gotten water into the system, but but those factory filters are plastic canisters with inserts with cartridges.
Right.
This has got these metal spin-on filters that actually end up creating lots and lots of debris and rust. So it's a combination of water plus actually generating rust and shedding it into the system. So this stuff's all been eating rust for quite a while is our assumption, based on how bad all this stuff looks, and even the, I don't know where all the lines are at. Here they are. This is the line set that actually bolts to the top of the DCR pump. Right. I mean, look at all the rust and corrosion coming off of this return line. Oh, yeah. So this thing is has been eating water and rust for probably months. And she's going strong. Yep. So we're gonna do a soft tear down, kind of inspect internals. As long as we're not gonna contaminate our test bench too bad, we'll put it on the test bench too and show that it likely still performs like it did when it was new. It just has taken a beating.
Maybe pull in an injector too and see what kind of shape it's in. Obviously the injectors have been eating rust and stuff too, so you know, it's hard to tell what kind of shape they're in, but you can probably put it under the scope to see if metal's gone through the injector or not, right?
Yeah, pretty well, yeah, and test it. I think for starters what we might end up doing is trying to make sure we're not going to introduce more water or more rust, kind of clean that up, put another pump on it, and see how it goes. I mean, realistically, we probably put this one back on, but we were going to do an update anyways. Right.
All right, guys, so it's been a little while since we were on the camera, but they've got a bunch done here. So what's going on, fellas?
Well, we got it tore down. Ian's been slaving away here, getting it stripped down to the point of getting ready for the DCR to go back in. We've got the old CB4 out. We pulled the FCA just to check to make sure it didn't look like it was showing signs of failure already, which would then, if that was the case, you'd have to dig a little deeper to, you might have already damaged injectors and that kind of thing. So good news is it's not showing signs of failure yet, so the rest of the system should be healthy, but now we're getting it out of the system so you don't have to worry about it later.
That's good.
So it's now to the point of getting the DCR hardware with the pump and all the rest of the associated parts and getting ready to go back together.
So we're going to go, we've got a shopping list, and we're going to head back and grab some parts.
Yep.
All right.
Going shopping.
Let's go. All right.
You good?
Very nice boxing, guys. This is looks good.
Thank you. A surprising, potentially disappointing amount of time goes into the packaging design. We've got a company here local that we work with that is great to work with.
Well, I was watching your guys over there package this stuff up, and they definitely got it figured out. You guys did a good job.
So
that's sharp.
Basically what comes in the kit, insert pops out, and then you've got all the parts that you need. Basically the pump itself is packaged in this cartridge that keeps it protected and safe, and you can just pull it out, basically a handle with it, and then that's what, you know, the pump's going to look like this coming out of the protective packaging.
Right. I saw the laser etcher back there.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yep.
Do you also serial number all of them? And
they're all serialized. So these are co-development with Pure Power and Stanadyne, and they come in. So all the laser etch stuff, all our injectors and other pumps were laser etching in house here. These actually come into us with our logos and serialized part numbers and everything like that on them. So works out well. So replace with high pressure lines, so we don't reuse the old ones. These are custom for that. Low pressure line assembly that interfaces with the factory sensors and all the factory parts, and then basically adapter plates and hardware, color instructions, and so even some Loctite to go with it, since we're recommending Loctite.
You know, an actual booklet of instructions, which is so nice, because I don't know how many times Ryan says, hey, look up the PDF online, you know, because there's nothing in the box. So
what's your vote?
We like looking at instructions on the manual. I mean, we really do. Maybe we're old school or something like that, but
we keep getting that vote, and that's my vote, but I also kind of hate that vote, because these are a pain in the butt and they're expensive to do in large volume.
But man, I'm telling you, I think guys still, especially the older guys, they really like the manual.
You take it up, you can lay it up here in the engine bay. You can look at it. You're not trying to look on your phone, scrolling through a PDF. So
but I know the PDF is very popular and we use it quite often. But you know, that's still me. I like that one. I
Yeah.
like the paper manual. So,
Our current strategy is PDFs online
yeah,
for the guys that like that,
or
and
lose
for a
that one.
backup, or
The
lose
guys that
this,
lose that
and then
one.
The original kit comes with this.
you
so.
get the kit, take it all apart, look at it, and you know, a few months later, put it on, and
Yep.
you're like, where the heck did I put that manual? You know, because you probably read it all through the house, and but,
It's sitting in the bathroom behind the toilet.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say, but I didn't say it. But that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yep. Well, we'll start going back together then with.
Are these made in house? Or are they locally?
No,
or?
these are, so this is, like say, the whole kit, the whole product is basically a co-developed, co-engineered product with Standardine and Pure Power. So we worked with our engineering teams, their engineering teams, basically came up with all of the components necessary to make this thing be like an OE drop-in replacement. So these various suppliers, various locations from, you know, like high pressure lines, for example, is really a specialty type of component. These are at, you know, 30,000 PSI and have to be very specialty materials and manufacturing. So basically we just, you know, the teams with us and Pure Power sourced all the components from the best people, the best manufacturers and suppliers for that particular part. So.
Yep, everything comes through South Carolina, Pure Power in South Carolina. Yeah, they're sourcing parts all over the world.
What, 5 more minutes?
Yep, pretty much.
All right, on. How's it going in here?
Real good, actually.
You're knee deep in there now. So you got the pump back in there. I got some video earlier of it in.
Yep, so we got the pump, we've got our new high pressure lines, we have our new low pressure feed and return coming in here that uses the factory sensor. And then it'll clip into the fuel filter that'll sit here, and we'll get the intakes back on and we'll be all set.
Do you do a lot of customer installs here?
We do not, no, we're primarily just a manufacturer.
Right.
So we design the kits, so we obviously do a lot of prototype work and installs along with that, but no, we don't,
We're getting
do
a
any
royal
custom
treat then.
shops. Yeah,
Very
yeah.
Nice.
Yep, no, we've done a few, and it's always good. We just took one of the production kits that we've been shipping out here the last couple weeks and putting it on here.
So a lot of questions we get. Most people don't necessarily understand and really shouldn't have to know exactly what goes into their truck or the ins and outs of it, but when there's problems, people find out the hard way, unfortunately, sometimes. The base architecture of different high pressure fuel pump designs for these newer diesel platforms is really important. And this is the CP3, the Bosch CP3, which is kind of the tried and true, really the baseline for everything going forward. 2001 Duramax launched with this, and then in 03 the Cummins, the Common Rail Cummins launched with this. They're very robust, reliable, great design, and this is the baseline for pretty much any of our stroker pumps, for our LML CP3 conversions, for our RAM CP3 conversions, all that kind of stuff uses this base design. This won't fit in a Ford because the valley on the Ford is pretty tight, and this is the CP4, which was kind of the next generation after that. So 2011, the Power Stroke and the Duramax launched with a version of the CP4, which is a lighter weight, easier to manufacture, compact pump. But as we were talking about earlier, it's not very robust to any kind of fuel quality issues. It's not nearly as just durable as some of these other designs.
Yeah, I was blown away about how, I mean, this is so smooth. This is, you really have to torque on this thing. And you showed me how the lobes work, and then you've got this just dream right here. It works so well. And I can see why there's such a huge difference and why you don't have to worry about.
It's really like an eccentric cam design where, you know, normally the bucket and plunger sit right there, and that can rotate up and down like that, versus the CP4 that's this 2-lobe cam with a roller, and every revolution this thing goes up and down twice for every rev. So it's a lot of motion, it's a lot of metal contact. This can turn like that and grind, or this will just seize and then start to skid.
So show us over here what happens when this thing goes sideways, because that is, And then it starts spitting out that metal.
So this is the same. This is a CP4 cam. What can happen is if these turn sideways, that just starts to grind and grind and grind like that, and then it starts to send metal shrapnel everywhere through the system, like what your truck did on your 2013. The other thing is they can just seize like this also. So it's not only just a rotate 90 degrees thing, but also they'll commonly seize. Newer Fords, 2020 Fords, actually have a pinned bucket like this, where there's actually a pin that keeps it from being able to rotate. So that helps with that failure mode, but they still do have failures where this will seize and then just skid like that. But yeah, it creates all kinds of carnage.
And then this DCR, which is just, like I said, I can't say enough. You can see how efficient it is. It's just.
So this one is more similar to a CP3, and then it's an eccentric cam, like an offset lobe, and it's got this roller ring, and it just rotates like that. You get almost no metal-to-metal contact. There's a nice big bushing that spreads the load out, and it's pressure lubricated like an engine crankshaft through the cam up underneath of all the bushing, so it's floating. The bushing's basically on lube, which none of the other variants have that, and it's just a really smooth, really robust design that's hard to hurt, and that's shown itself through lots of testing and lots of other things. So this is now the ultimate solution. That's a drop-in. It's been developed and designed to be a no tuning required, straight OE type fitment and drop-in, and the engine over here kind of shows that. Supply and return lines from the filter to this pump. It fits right in the factory location, uses the factory gear, retains the factory high pressure rail to rail line. You know,
we got the full install video over there being filmed right now, so we'll cut that thing up and show you guys how that thing went together.
Yep.
But it's very impressive. I'm real excited. I've learned a lot today. I mean, this was a great stop.
Well, thanks for coming and spending some time with us, and we're looking forward to making sure that you guys don't have any reliability problems on the road.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.